The steps for launching MVP, as we discussed this week, are making it work, then making it fast, and then making it pretty. And in this case, we're not talking about just putting lipstick on a pig. We're talking about putting the effort in to make something more attractive. And that does not necessarily mean makeup or graphic designers or artists. In some cases, yes, it does actually mean that. But today we're talking about doing the right thing and doing it well. And what does that mean? It means making something more attractive to the end customer. Ironically, yes, looks matter, but to borrow from the software world, this is not about UI or the user interface or how it looks. It is about UX or the user experience and how it feels. The making it pretty phase in software deals with making the experience better, and that's what this is about. Making the experience of working with your company feel better. So let's talk about the value progression. The value progression depicted here starts with having a chat, to having a meeting, to having an email, and then having a report. It's important to note that there are different types of value. The value we're discussing today has to do with permanence and transferability. Chats and text messages by their very nature are ephemeral or disappear quickly. Emails are less ephemeral because they are portable, they are shareable, and they are forwardable. Reports have more permanence than emails. Reports will be saved. Reports will be shared. If you look at the effort progression, the order is different. Chats and emails are less effort. Meetings and reports are more effort. It is hard to get more value than from a very good meeting. But often, what makes the outcome of that meeting valuable is the email and after the meeting. It summarizes it. It makes it more permanent and more shareable. Without the email, the meeting's value will be lost. The knowledge will be lost to the customer. Without the agenda and notes being captured in the knowledge base, the knowledge will be lost to your own employees and coworkers. And yes, reports will be covered in depth in later weeks, and we'll cover how to make reports more valuable and more user-friendly. But today, we'll be talking about emails primarily because that's something that everyone can do better immediately. I'm a big fan of what I call the cover email. In school, they talk a lot about executive summaries or executive reports. It's, some sort of very simple overview. Well, I like to do the same thing with all of my emails. And by saying cover email, I'm referencing a favorite phrase of mine, don't make me think. And I like to call it the don't make me think email. As you progress down the path of effort, you will end up with reports, as we alluded to, and those reports will look nicer than emails. And so sometimes we're inclined to stop the email and just do something very, very brief and then maybe just send the report over. This is the wrong way. It is the wrong approach. Instead, the email should be an overview of the attached report. It should call out interesting things in the report, and it should remove the need for the customer to do analysis on the report. And I think this is really one of the most critical ideas. It's that customers appreciate when you've done the analysis for them, when you've done the work for them. And yes, we'll take a look at reports in the next several weeks, as I mentioned. But before we get there, this concept is very simple. If you have a report and there is something that could be gleaned from taking the time and thinking it through, don't hide that from the customer. Go to or Brad, bring it to their attention. Do not make them interpret the data. Do the thinking for them and call out your thoughts, call out your analysis with very short, sweet, and to the point points in the cover email. One of the things about this approach is that your customers can then use the same email and forward it on to someone else. Or they can take those points and take the report, and you can help them look like they spent the time to do the analysis on what is going on with the partnership when they send it around internally. This increases the quality of the customer experience. It improves the way the customer feels about working with you. This makes your company more attractive to work with. As part of that, it's the handwritten effect. We get a lot of emails. Again, we all get a lot of emails. And the handwritten effect alludes to the fact that a human sent this email. It's very easy to distinguish that emails that were written by a human versus those that were written by a computer or sent through a marketing department. And having a person in your company physically write the letter instead of having it spit up automatically shows a level of dedication to the account. It says, you are important to me. We analyzed this information. We took a look at it, and we sent this email off. And as we alluded to earlier, this starts with a very simple 3-bullet summary. The 3-bullet summary is great because your client can copy and paste it. Just like I said, they can use it internally. They can share it. And if you're sharing the reports, you're doing the work for them. You're reducing the friction of the engagement. And I think this is really one of the most important ideas about the Make It Pretty section. Hey, you made it work. You made it faster and easier for you to do the work. And now you're making it faster, easier, and more enjoyable for your clients because you've done the work for them. You've added the polish to the report. Not to the report itself, although, yeah, we'll be talking about that. You've added the polish to it by doing the thinking. It's like the icing on the cake. It's going to make a difference. The purpose of doing this is that you're training them that when you work with them on something, whether it's a project or an engagement or a meeting, however or whatever you're working on, that they are going to have to do less work to get the results that they need and to get the understanding of what's going on. This whole course is about understanding that they are not buying a process. They are not buying a technology. They are not buying a service. They are buying an outcome. With this step, you are making it less painful to acquire the outcome. This is part of the MVP process because early on, you may not have polished reports. You may not have everything you need, but you can augment that by taking what you have and putting in the effort so the client doesn't feel they are not being adequately serviced. This lesson could just have easily been called the icing on the cake. The icing on the cake is that you are reducing the friction. You're reducing the effort and you're reducing the pain that comes along with dealing with another person outside of your own organization. And you're helping them look good inside their organization, which is one of the things about this process. You want your champions to look good. You want your champions to look like they've done work and that they're driving the results of the partnership and that you're arming them with what they need to be successful inside their own organization. Thank you and have a nice day.